Hello and good evening and welcome to today's video, which is going to be on the French D520. Now, I'm afraid you can no longer purchase this aircraft in game. It was available recently at 50% price off before Gaijin has removed it from the store, and that's where I managed to buy it. And I have to say, flying this aircraft out, I've been finding it most enjoyable. The nose-mounted Hispano is, well, excellent at its battle rating of 2.7, and the four 7.5 machine guns are not as useless as you would initially think. They appear to be fairly effective at setting things on fire when using tracers. However, I prefer to use stealth ammunition, and they can still are perfectly capable of ripping wings off, and they still do have incendiary rounds which can set things on fire. Now, here we are on Korea, and unfortunately there I've ripped a flap off, but anyway. And, well, we were diving on those I-16s, however, we were unable to get a firing solution on that second one, so we've climbed back up, turned back around, and we're going to dive back down on them. Because that Hurricane, I know the I-60 can definitely outroll them, but I'm not too sure, but I think they're just about even for turning. So, I'm going to dive down in here, and I'm going to give them a helping hand, as it were. I'll open fire with the machine guns first, then miss with the cannon, then get him with the cannon, just into his left wing. For any of you that are curious, I use 300 meters convergence with vertical targeting on, up until jets, where I use a different setting for them. But personally, this is one thing I should probably say. Vertical targeting, I never actually used it for a long time. It's only been in the past 3 weeks that I've been using it, and I would advise you to put it on, particularly for lower velocity guns. Why you might ask? Well, it fires if you're firing in level flight, that means that the bullets will drop exactly on to that point where you're aiming, where you've set your convergence. So if you're turn fighting someone, that means that they're going to aim slightly ahead of where you actually are. So even if they're able to outturn you ever so slightly, you can still get a firing solution on them if you're at very close range. Now, anyway, I should probably say more about the D520. This aircraft was not produced in huge numbers before the fall of France. However, it was a highly capable fighter. Only faster than the Hurricane, although admittedly slower than the Bf-109E and the Spitfire Mark 1. However, it was fairly manoeuvrable, not quite as manoeuvrable as both of them, but it was a very capable fighter, and in the hands of good pilots it could have very well allowed the Allies to maintain a reasonable amount of air cover over France. Unfortunately, that wasn't to be. But this aircraft did fly for the Free French, and was also produced by the Vichy regime as well. And I know I believe the D521, there was a variant of it to help try and cure this aircraft's its largest problem. It's underpowered, and missed that I-16 there, by replacing its engine with a Merlin engine, I believe. As I say, I believe, there I go on again, I should probably use a different phrase there. If I am correct, it did increase performance. However, only one of these was made. I unfortunately do not have this aircraft. I do know that it was available in an event a while back, though I had not become a member of War Thunder at that point. Anyway, here we are, we're trying to help out this Hurricane again with this I-16 on his tail. The I-16 sees us and breaks off. Right, take part in a head on there, and I managed to get him there. And that takes us up to 2 kills for this match. You notice I'm not engaging in turn fights, and that's because although this aircraft can turn, it is not really a turn fighter. It's more, it's a boom and zoomer that can turn fight if forced to, I would say. However, there are some aircraft which you should never turn against, like basically any Japanese aircraft. I-15s, for example. However, if you've got a 109 on your tail, you can turn with them if you use your flaps and are careful. This aircraft is pretty maneuverable over 200 miles an hour, or 320 kilometers an hour, and does has very good energy retention. The other great feature of it is, of course, that nose-mounted Hispano, which does make you deadly when executing a boom and zoom roll. Now, the only problem is with this aircraft is that it has a climb rate akin to that of the P-47, aka what climb rate? Its climb rate's under 2,000 feet per minute. Well, there we go. We managed to get that Yak-1 to spark his shells, and he's going to go after my squad mate there, Zenit, another member of the clan. But I'm going to turn back and go onto this I-15. Right. I miss him there, and that's me practically run out of cannon ammunition, if I remember. But going to keep on flying here, and we're going to try and help Zenit. But Zenit actually is quite clever here. He dives down into this valley and breaks away and manages to get that Yak-1 to crash, which is a great piece of flying by him. Anyway, easily able to outpace these I-15s, and well, I do turn around to try and force some more combat with this I-15 now that I've gained some separation. He isn't really that interested in it, and I was rather, yep, there goes the last of my cannon ammunition. A few hits, but nothing major. I was rather disappointed with myself there, because he did pull vertical, which is never really a wise thing unless you're trying to bait for a teammate, because it does provide you your enemy with a full profile of your aircraft and makes you extremely easy to shoot down, hence why I was disappointed with myself for being unable to get a firing solution there. And what I did, oh well. Anyway, we're going to spend our time returning to base, so I will come back to you when we take off again from our airfield. And here we are back up in the air. There is currently 3 of us left. There's me, my squad mate Zenit, and Mr. Albert in the Hawker Hurricane Mark 1. Now when we landed, there was 4 Russians left, an SB2 who's been killing our ground targets and, as you can see, bleeding our points to high heaven. There was that Chaika, Yak-1 and an IL-2. The IL-2 crashed, so now it's just the Chaika, the Yak-1 and the SB2, and we have found the Chaika. Now we're going to maneuver, we're going to go and engage him, and now you're going to see how difficult it is to pin down a Chaika, as well as some atrocious firing solutioning from 3 allied aircraft, as it takes us an embarrassingly long time to kill him. Anyway, so Zenit moves in first in his Spitfire Mark 2A, and starts to engage him in a turning fight, hoping to get the Chaika up to a speed where his maneuverability starts to suffer greatly. Now, this is actually something it's actually quite useful to be aware of. The Chaika really struggles to get a firing solution at over 250-300 miles an hour, because he loses practically all control over his rudder. Now, I'm here above at plenty of altitude here, about to dive on him, and, well, he's even stalling out for me. However, he's recovered in time and is able to put in some fancy footwork. And I waste quite a bit of cannon ammunition there. Anyway, we extend away from him, and we're going to, and you'll notice this is a recurring theme. Well, the Hurricane and the Spitfire can just about turn with him, and having two of there means that he can never really be focused on a single target. I will be continuing to extend away from the target and then come back in. Anyway, as you notice, the fight will gradually get lower and lower as Zenit tries to keep the speed of the fight up. So here I come in again. No, realise I'm not going to get a firing solution the first time. So we roll ourselves back around. You notice I am using a lot of machine guns here. That's because you get 2,700 rounds for these 4 French machine guns. Now they do fire quickly, but it's almost as much ammunition as the Spitfires and the Hurricanes get for their 8 machine guns, and I can tell you it lasts a long, long time. You do only get 60 rounds for the Hispano though, and I've been far too wasteful with that so far. Anyway, we're going to go over here to this Yak 1. That means then it sees a more pressing concern. As the I-153 we can really choose when to attack it and not. Anyway, the Yak 1 goes for Zenit first. I may try to maintain my altitude over him. Well, sorry there. He comes for me there first, but I try and make sure to drain his energy while Zenit comes up. Now Zenit struggles to get a firing solution here at first. Eventually he does, however, get some hits on him and starts engaging him in a closer dogfight in here. Here you can easily see how well he outturns me there, but I am still almost able to get a firing solution simply by diving down on him here. Now, the Chaika has managed to get onto the tail of Albert here, and I used that opportunity to scare him off his tail, as it were. And I zoom back up towards the Yak 1. Almost hit Zenit. That would be embarrassing for both of us. You notice here I'm turning a lot more in the vertical there. I mean, I managed to get him there with just the 7.5s. They are extremely effective if they hit the wings. Now, you saw there I was turning more in the vertical, and that's the thing, the vertical manoeuvring on this aircraft is actually rather excellent. And it's something that you should try and do more of, rather than just turn sideways. Now, an embarrassing moment, we're unable to kill that Chaika in that head-on, despite having a nose-mounted cannon. Head-ons are risky, but they can be successful. Anyway, here we are now again, 3-on-1 against this Chaika. All the time that SB2's at the airfield rearming and getting ready to go out and bomb our final 2 tanks at this stage. Now this is starting to get embarrassing here. I almost shot down my own teammates of the Chaika. But he can't keep this up forever, and very soon we'll be able to get a firing solution on him. He has managed to damage Albert, who has, if I remember correctly, his left wing had been turned yellow, and Zenit was running very, very low on ammunition by this stage. Anyway, I managed to get a firing solution on him there, and, well, that's the end of him. It's not really much point showing you the rest of the match here. Zenit and Albert return to base, meanwhile I try and look for the SB2. Unfortunately, none of us have Blind Hunt or Avenger. I do manage to spot him before the end, but unfortunately as I dive on him he manages to bomb our last tank, and we unfortunately lose the match. A rare case of a bomber winning a match for the fighters. However, it's been nice to make this video as always. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you very much for watching.